हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम देख रहे हैं एक ब्लॉग विच हैज़ बीन पब्लिश्ड बाय वर्सल। तो रिसेंटली उन्होंने अपनी iOS की ऐप निकाली थी V0, राइट। तो वो रिएक्ट नेटिव में बिल्ड थी, और उन्होंने उसी के रिलेटेड एक ब्लॉग पब्लिश किया है। एंड फर्नांडो रोहो हिमसेल्फ हैज़ रिटन दिस ब्लॉग। सो लेट्स सी कि हाउ V0 was built. So we recently released V0 for iOS. As a company focused on web, building a native app, obviously, our goal was to build an app worthy of Apple Design Award, and we were open-minded on the best tech stack. तो यहाँ पर इन्होंने कुछ इंट्रोडक्शन दी है. लेट्स डीप डाइव इनटू इट. सो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है हाउ वी बिल्ड द V0 chat interface, because chat interfaces are often very tough to manage, right? I have myself created such interfaces, and it is the trickiest part in a mobile application. तो देखते हैं इन्होंने ये कैसे टैकल किया. When you are away from your computer, you might have a quick idea you want to act on. Our goal was to let you turn that idea into something tangible without requiring context switching. V0 is the iOS, the next generation of your notes app where your ideas get built in the background. We did not set out to build a mobile ID with feature parity with our website. Instead, we wanted to build a simple, delightful experience. To build a great chat, we set the requirements as news messages animate in smoothly. New user messages scroll to the top of screen. Assistant messages fade with a staggered transition as they stream. The composer uses liquid glass. Opening existing chats starts scroll to the end. Keyboard handling feels natural. तो मोस्ट ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आर वेरी क्वाइट नेचुरल, एंड अभी हम काफ़ी यूज हो चुके हैं आफ्टर यूजिंग एप्स लाइक चैट जीपीटी, राइट. तो लेट्स सी हाउ डिड दे अचीव दिस. सो उन्होंने कुछ मेंशन की हैं लाइब्रेरीज, जैसे लेजेंड लिस्ट, रिएक्ट नेटिव रीएनिमेटेड, रिएक्ट नेटिव कीबोर्ड कंट्रोलर. सो लेट मी गिव यू अ brief description of what each of these libraries actually do. So legend list, you must have heard about flash list. It's a basically a very performant list library, right? And legend list is also a list library, but the difference is कि ये पूरी की पूरी TypeScript में बनी हुई है, or I can say JavaScript में बनी हुई है. So everything that happens on the JS runtime. So this is, if you can see, this is the difference between each of them. So if I play this video for you guys, so as you can see, this legend list is quite optimized for long lists, right? And I have myself used this. If you want a separate video on legend list, I will obviously create one. Let me know in the comments. So this is what they used. React Native reanimated, of course, for animations. And this is what React Native keyboard controller. This is a very advanced library to control the keyboard interactions of the user, right? So we can uh, track basically each and every detail of keyboard interaction, right? So this is quite an impressive library. I haven't quite used it because most of the things that I get, that I see or face, get covered in the usual, जो हमारे केसेस रहते हैं उनमें कवर हो जाता है ऑलरेडी. सो ये काफ़ी इनिशियल स्टेज में आपको सीखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बट इफ़ यू हैव अ वेरी एडवांस्ड यूज केस तो वहाँ पे काम आती है. अगर देन सो इफ वी सी द कोड, तो इन्होंने एक कंपोजर हाइट प्रोवाइडर यूज़ किया. दिस इज़ फॉर द रिएक्ट नेटिव कंट्रोलर. सो दिस बेसिकली मे बी टेल्स कि कितनी हाइट हमारे उसकी है, बेसिकली व्यू पोर्ट की है, अगर हम कीबोर्ड एक्टिव कर रहे हैं इनएक्टिव कर रहे हैं उसके अलावा. फिर मैसेजेस लिस्ट प्रोवाइडर related to chat, then new message animation provider. So they have basically divided everything into providers, right? And then we have messages list, which again has a chat provider. with a key. So if you see closely, the code is quite clean and seems like कि उन्होंने कोई library ही बना रहे हैं. Although they are writing their own code, but वो library जैसा ही लगता है. So if you see, this is quite cluttered to see. Like they would have obviously left out some space, but yeah, that's nitpicking, obviously. And I don't see a semicolon anywhere. So, oh, yeah. So this is for keyboards, and this is for a scrolling. So whenever the list, a composer's height changes or size changes, then the scroll list also updates. So this is their custom hook, I guess. And this is use update last message index, right? Yeah. So we don't get much information from this code, but yeah. So this is the animation which they use for to send the first message, right? So if you see, quite a lot of things are happening. पहले ये message type हुआ है, फिर as it is being sent. See if you can see. If you closely see this, let me decrease the speed. See, this is what is happening. So काफी simple सी animation है, I guess it's not that very hard to pull off. Yeah. तो ये इसमें इतना तो कुछ tough नहीं था इसमें तो. And if you want, we can do a quick video on trying, me trying to make this V0 app mimicking this. So if you want that, let me know. Yeah, so they are tracking their state. So if it is the first message, then they are using the first message animation, right? So the animation of this transition is happening only on the first message. Yeah. So this is how it works. The first message animation. So they basically calculate the height of the message. So if the message is too big, they'll calculate it with the item height thing, right? And they'll fade the message when the message is being sent, right? And when the assistant starts the uh, and when the animation completes, then only assistant starts responding, right? This is quite an interesting take of how they themselves, you know, cater such conditions, because most of the AI space in JavaScript or TypeScript world, I guess, is dominated by Vercel because of the SDK that they have built, uh, the AI SDK, obviously. So this is some code, but I guess this is not well written. This is not a well written, blog. They could have told us details in such a way that वो हमें समझ भी आए. So this is how existing messages work. So if we see that whenever a new message comes, then the rest of the chat moves out of the view, और हमारा जो मैसेज है वो टॉप पर चला जाता है on the viewport. So they need to do this calculation. So although this might seem easy to us, but it is tricky as far as I can see, because जैसे ही हम वो मैसेज भेजेंगे तो ऑब्वियसली हमारा कीबोर्ड नीचे जाएगा, तो फिर हमें वो शिफ्टिंग में एनिमेशन भी उस हिसाब से क्रिएट करनी पड़ेगी. Then they got a couple of issues which then they, तो आई गेस उन्होंने बहुत पैचिंग भी की है इसमें, उन्होंने अपने जुगाड़ लगाए हुए हैं. तो इन्होंने पूरा ये डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया हुआ है but it is not a very well written blog. Okay. Okay, the interesting thing is that they have integrated the liquid class so beautifully. So that is what uh, we need to learn. So I don't think there's much in this blog. Obviously, it would be better if we go and implement this thing right away, right? Let me know if you would want a demo or a tutorial or a live session where we are recreating this chat interface. And obviously, they are sharing some code between web and native. Okay, so let me know if you would want. There was nothing much in this blog uh, to see. I thought it would be an interesting one and would require a dedicated video, but I was wrong. Let me know if you would want a demo on creating a V0 clone. And this was it for the video. Thank you for checking in. Bye bye.